Forget everything you think you know about Henry VIII. This isn't just the story of a king with 6 wives or the founder of the Church of England. What you're about to hear is the twisted truth that history books shy away from. A story so disturbing, it makes Game of Thrones look like a bedtime story. By the end of his life, Henry VIII was no longer a man. He was a decaying shell of one. His body was so bloated, he couldn't walk without mechanical assistance, and his legs were plagued with festering wounds that never healed. These open sores leaked pus and rotting flesh, filling the palace halls with a stench so unbearable that even loyal servants gagged and ran from him. His waist measured a staggering 54 inches, and he tipped the scales at nearly 400 pounds, at a time when most men barely weighed 140. But the horror didn't stop at obesity. His leg ulcers were described as gaping holes that oozed constantly. The odor was so revolting that courtiers approached him with perfumed cloths over their faces. Dressing him was such a dreaded task that servants drew straws to determine who had to do it. In 1536, a jousting accident left Henry unconscious for 2 hours. A traumatic brain injury that likely changed him forever. Medical experts believe this incident triggered severe personality shifts, turning a once athletic and charming ruler into a paranoid, violent tyrant. Some historians even suspect he had Cushing's syndrome, which would explain his uncontrollable weight gain, emotional instability, and the ghastly leg wounds that never healed. But no one dared question the king's health. Doing so was considered treason. His own physicians were too terrified to speak honestly. And as his health worsened, he lost control of even basic functions, requiring special chairs to avoid accidents while being moved around the palace. Yes, Henry had 6 wives, and 2 were famously beheaded. But what's often left out is the psychological torment he inflicted on them. Take Anne Boleyn, for example. Henry didn't just have her executed. He staged a twisted public humiliation. He forced her to watch 5 innocent men, including her brother, be put to death on false charges of adultery before having her beheaded. Then there was Catherine Howard, a teenager when she married him. When her previous relationships came to light, Henry passed a law making it treason to marry the king without disclosing one's sexual history. That's right, he rewrote the law to punish a teenage girl for not being a virgin. Even those who weren't executed weren't spared. Catherine of Aragon was isolated in her final years, banned from seeing her daughter, and rumored to be mentally unstable. Rumors likely spread by Henry himself. And Anne of Cleves, she was so terrified of him that she agreed to annul their marriage and thank him for sparing her life. Henry didn't just eat like a king, he devoured food like a man possessed. His daily calorie intake often exceeded 5,000, yet he could barely stand unaided. His meals included entire pigs, multiple birds, oceans of wine, and dozens of hand-selected dishes, all taste-tested in front of him out of fear of poisoning. He believed eating swan made him more elegant, and deer would enhance his hunting abilities. Oysters, of course, were for improving his performance. With his wives, he obsessed over food so much that 200 cooks worked daily to serve his table alone. Henry's paranoia reached terrifying extremes. He slept with weapons under his pillow and stationed armed guards in his bedroom. He built secret passages and hidden rooms in his palaces, not for luxury, but for emergency escapes. He installed peepholes in walls to spy on his courtiers and planted listening devices in rooms to overhear conversations. He even had spies watching his other spies. No one, not even